Hey guys, Seamus here. A little bit of a different video for you today. Just in case you're not aware, the Division open beta went live today on Xbox. And while I wasn't planning on doing a video on the Xbox One, I am planning on doing some on the PC beta. I thought I'd have a bit of a play around, get used to the game. Now, I didn't play in the closed beta, but I'm currently I've put about 6 hours in on the Xbox open beta, which I feel is kind of giving me a chance to have a look at the game, get to know the game a little bit, and kind of give you guys my initial thoughts on what I've found so far. Now, to begin with, I'll just talk a little bit about what I expected from the game, having seen other people's coverage of it. The thing that really worried me about this game was the bullet sponge kind of nature of it. It's kind of, when I was watching other people's footage of it, it always seemed like people were taking 3 or 4 rounds to the head, and that worried me a lot. With it being a Tom Clancy game, and with me, I've been looking forward to this game since the Snowdrop engine video like 2 years ago now. So when I saw this, I was kind of expecting it to be a bit more realistic. I was kind of expecting it to be a bit more Rainbow Six and less World of Warcraft. And I'll be honest, a lot of my fears have been assuaged, and I'll kind of go into that in a minute. But overall, the game, like kind of my initial thoughts, the game's a lot of fun. It's by no means perfect. There are a lot of things that I hope change between now and its official release. But overall, it's a very good game. It's fun. I think they've gated off a lot of content because obviously they don't want to give it away, so a lot of the story missions aren't there. However, as long as those story missions are there, and there is a single player campaign and a substantial single player campaign, I feel like this game has real legs and will be an awful lot of fun for a long time going forward, especially with that MMO element in the Dark Zone, which again I'll go into in a second. So some things that I did like about the game. Honestly, the feel of this game is amazing. Walking around post-apocalyptic New York is one of the most atmospheric things I've done in a while, actually. Snowdrop captures this thing brilliantly, or this place brilliantly. Kind of the weather effects are gorgeous. The place just looks phenomenal. There's so much detail. There's just stuff everywhere. The civilians feel civilian-y, although there are issues with the AI, but again, it's a beta. The map system, kind of the interactivity of the map system is phenomenal. Like it's fairly, once you get used to it, it's fairly easy to navigate. I like the waypoint system. I like the way that the waypoint system guides you to things. And overall, I think it's a very, very good map system. To speak a little bit more about the general feel of the game, one of the things I really enjoy is the encounters. For me personally, it didn't feel like there were enough of them, but the ones that were there were phenomenal. My favourites being the HQ ones. Basically, you're given an HQ to fight, so you've got these kind of NPC enemies, and you take down this HQ. So there's a few of them outside, there's a boss inside, and the bosses are a little bit harder to kill, a bit more bullet spongy. You go in, you take them down, you get some rewards. It's fantastic. Other ones include like hostage rescues, and these kind of happened. These happened a lot more to begin with. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording at that point. But they're really kind of cool. Basically, the idea is you'll just be wandering through the street, and you'll find some of them were like bandits holding guns to civilians' heads. Some of them were the cleaners, who are kind of fanatical guys with flamethrowers who are trying to kind of burn this virulent virus out of the city. Kind of holding people hostage. So you clear the area, you kill all the guys, and then you go looking for a key. And then you open the door and you let the hostages out. There's a couple of other ones which are more based around kind of researching the virus, where you've got to set up some checkpoints, some little computers, and then kind of study it that way. I saw one that was like fixing a water supply, but I didn't go and check that one out. But overall, all in all, the encounters I think are a lot of fun and should hopefully kind of give a little bit of variety and a little bit extra life to the game. Where I feel this game's real strength lies is in party play. I wasn't part of a group that I knew, but I did decide to go back and redo one of the main story missions, which you can do through matchmaking. And I was thrown in with a group of 2 guys. Didn't really communicate with them. Unfortunately, I don't have a headset for the Xbox One, so I was silent and I couldn't really hear what they were saying. But it was a lot of fun. The way that the enemies work is they kind of become a little bit harder to kill, so they become more bullet spongy. I think they put a few extra in as well. And it felt good. It felt like, even though we weren't really communicating, we still kind of felt like we were working as a team. And I really enjoyed myself. And then once that mission finished, we were just kind of left in the world together. So I ran off and did my own thing, they ran off and did their own thing, and then occasionally we came back, we kind of fast travelled to each other's positions and just did missions together, without even really talking. In fact, without talking at all. Which is really cool. It kind of felt, especially for someone like me, like I find collaborating with people on the internet really quite strange, and really quite, I get quite anxious over it. So for me, it was really cool. It was a really fun experience. And definitely one that I'd be interested in doing again. Now, the area that I think most people are going to spend a lot of time in is the Dark Zone. Now, for those of you who don't know much about The Division, the game is split into 2 areas, PvE and PvP. PvE is what I've described so far. PvP is the Dark Zone. The idea is you run around, either solo or as part of a team, and you're in a lawless area of New York City, and you can either shoot people and get really good loot off them, or you can not shoot people and just go looking for loot. Now, when you shoot people, the way they get around kind of the lawlessness that you see in something like DayZ is when you shoot somebody and take, I think it's a percentage of their health away, you become rogue, and from that point onwards you're seen on the map by all the non-rogue players. There is a bounty on your head kind of for how long you've been a rogue, and if your rogue timer counts down, you get the bounty, and if someone kills you, they get the bounty. The rogue timer, interestingly enough, is kind of reset, or it goes up every time they're shot or hurt in any way. And all in all, I found this to be a really good little system. It did have its negatives. I found it very simple when you were shooting at rogues. If non-hostile agents ran in the way, it was really easy to shoot them, take a good portion of their health off, and become a rogue yourself. At which point you're stood literally in a group of non-hostile players who can now kill you with impunity. So while it works, it does have its negatives. Do be careful, and I do hope that's something they kind of mess around with in the future, because it did feel a bit like I was being punished for doing something that I was meant to be doing. That said, solo play has a ridiculously good atmosphere. Tense. There were examples of me, there was one point where I came straight out of a checkpoint, which is kind of the way that you get into the Dark Zone, and I was immediately confronted with 2 people who had no idea who I was. I had no idea who they were. Either of us could have started shooting at each other, and there was this weird kind of Mexican standoff before I just ran, at which point they fired a shot over my head and I just never turned back. And that's brilliant. It's absolutely phenomenal. I had died so many times in the Dark Zone by that point that I was terrified of everybody, and I was starting to kind of get a feel for the people who were going to kill me and for the people who weren't. I did, however, die a lot in the Dark Zone, and solo play in the Dark Zone, if you're unlucky and go to the wrong spawn points, is unforgiving. Brutally unforgiving. I was killed by the same group of 2 people 5 times in a row, and every time you die you lose Dark Zone experience, which means that your Dark Zone level goes down, and you lose money for the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone has its own currency, it has its own experience and levels from PvE, and every time you die you lose those, as well as anything that you happen to have found in the Dark Zone. So overall, I'm having a lot of fun. I put 6 hours in on the game and I've absolutely loved it. I'm planning on playing an awful lot of this on the PC and recording it, so you get to see my live reactions to these things. And to be honest, I'm sorely tempted to buy this game when it comes out. I was already kind of thinking about doing that, but having played it now and seeing the potential that's there, I feel like I might buy this. It's been an awful lot of fun. I'm really excited for the PC version, and being able to just sink a ton of time into it and letting you guys see my live reaction to what's going on. But yeah, it's a great game. I would thoroughly recommend, if you have a PC that can hold up to it, or you've got an Xbox or a PlayStation, download it, seriously. Get it down as quickly as you can and give it a go. You know, that you can get through the main story missions in a couple of hours. And there's enough content. There to keep me going through for 3 times that period. So thank you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know it's been a little bit different. If you have enjoyed it, let me know in the comment down below. If you want to kind of hear more of my initial reactions, if you want to hear more reviews from me, I'd love to know. Let me know what I can be doing better. Again, this is the first time I've done this kind of thing, so you know, there are probably things that are going to need changing. Let me know. I'll get them sorted. Anyway, until then, if you have enjoyed, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Share this with your friends, especially if they're PC gamers. Don't let people who are PC or, well, in fact, gamers at the moment, if they like FPSs, don't let them go without knowing that this beta's around. The last day is the 21st of February, which is this coming Sunday. I think I'm right in saying. So yeah. Let them know, make sure they download it, play it with your friends, get talking to people, be sociable with it. I have the worst social anxiety. I'm planning on being very social with this game. So go do it. Anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Hey guys, just a quick little update. If you've looked at the channel recently, you might notice there's a couple of new bits and bobs. Of the probably next few weeks, or probably the next month or so, I'm investing around with some new branding. I have a new channel that I'm messing around with at the moment. It's not ready for public consumption yet, but it will be probably fairly soon.